Uh, uh, hello everybody. I'm back. 1 hour late. I'm very sorry for the delay. I had some technical problems. I apologize, but I think that now I have fixed these problems, and now I think it should be okay. So yes. Yes, I'm here to answer any of your questions about English, grammar, vocabulary, anything. So ask away. I am here. Okay, I'm going to take off my jacket because I think this is when I take off my jacket, it's a sign that I'm serious. You know, that I'm getting down to business. Okay. I have to wear a jacket in the school today because it's a little bit cold. Okay, so the first question is, what is the difference between the active and the passive voice? Fantastic question. Fantastic question. Okay. Okay, so basically the difference between the active voice and the passive voice is that in the active voice we know who or what is performing the action of the verb. So you can see here in this sentence the verb is steal, and we know that in the active voice that you stole my car. So we know that the person performing the action of the verb is you, okay? But in this case, okay, the verb is stolen, but we don't know who or what performed the action of the verb. So you can see here in this sentence, I don't know. I don't know who stole my car. And there's a couple of reasons why we use the passive voice. 2 reasons, okay? Okay, so the first reason that we use the passive voice is if we don't know the subject. Okay, so imagine that in my example, the car is stolen. I don't know who stole the car. I don't know, so I use the passive voice. Okay, and the other reason is if we don't want to say the subject. We don't want to, but why? Normally this is for a psychological reason. Okay? I'll give you an example. Okay, so in my example here, I'm saying, imagine that you work for a company and you receive a salary. Your salary is your money, okay? So you work for a company and you receive a salary. But one day, the company reduces your salary. Okay? Now, there are two ways to say this. You could say, I am reducing your salary. Me, Christian, me, I am responsible, I am reducing your salary. Or, if we use the passive voice, then it's not my fault. I'm not doing it. The universe, I'm not specifying who. I'm saying your salary is being reduced. So this is one of the psychological reasons why we use the passive voice. So we can avoid mentioning the subject for various reasons. And that's one of the reasons that you see the passive voice a lot in newspapers. Because sometimes in newspapers, they don't want to say, you are responsible, or this person did this. They use the passive voice to not mention the subject. Okay? So I'll give you a quick lesson on how to use the passive, how to create the passive. Okay? So basically, the passive is the verb to be and the participle. And that's it. The passive is always to be and participle. Okay? And what we do is we conjugate this in the same verbal tense as the active voice. Okay? So let's look at some transformations. So here is my first example. Okay, you stole my car. So we have to start. We identify the subject. Okay, here the subject is you, and then the verb. Okay. Here's our verb, stole. And then the object, my car. Okay? And to make the passive, we move the object into the subject position. So we put this here, okay? We say, my car. And now we have to look at the verbal tense. So stole is in the past. Steal, stole, stolen. This is the past. Okay? So that means we put the verb to be in the past. To be in the past is was. My car was. And now the participle. Steal, stole, stolen. Easy. That's it. So here we have an active to a passive transformation. Now it's important when you do transformations from active to passive, that you use the main verb in the sentence and not auxiliary verbs. Okay? For example, I can eat 50 pizzas. That's a lot of pizza. I can eat 50 pizzas. So we can see here we have an auxiliary verb, can. But the main verb, the verb that's important to us, is this verb here, eat. Okay? So this verb here we don't touch. Okay? We don't touch. So here's our object. So we bring it here. So we say 50 pizzas. 50 pizzas. Can. Okay. So here we're not touching the auxiliary. Okay. But now the main verb, the verb of the sentence is eat. So the verb to be in the present can be, and the participle eaten. 50 pizzas can be eaten. Hopefully that is a good guide to the difference between the active and the passive. And hopefully, you understand now how to create the passive. I guess the final thing is, if you want to identify the passive, it's very easy, okay? You look at the sentence and you find the verb, okay? So here's the verb, eaten. And now I look at the sentence and I say, can I see who or what is eating? Well, no, I can't see who or what is eating. So this is the passive. But in this sentence, I look at the verb eat and I say who or what is eating? Ah, I. So I can identify the active and the passive. Hopefully that's a complete explanation. Please tell me if you want me to explain more. Okay. Okay. Let me just have a look at some comments here and some questions. Okay. So I have a question here about what is the difference between the American and the Australian accent. There are lots of differences between the accents, but of course it depends which part of America. The United States has very strong regional accents, like the difference between someone in California and someone in Texas is going to be very different from someone in Alaska. So there are lots of regional varieties of American English, and they're all different from Australian English in different ways. So I think if you want to understand better Australian English, you can watch the video that I made about this. It's about half an hour long. It's quite detailed about the pronunciation and vocabulary. So have a look at that video. Hello, Christian. Welcome back to class. Best name ever. Okay. So David has asked me about the subjunctive mood and the indicative mood. Indicative mood, sorry. It's a really interesting question, the subjunctive and the indicative, okay? Oops, subjunctive. So, Old English, Old English from medieval times, used to have a complete subjunctive tense. But now in modern English, basically the subjunctive tense doesn't exist. Okay? Well, it does exist, but there are no different verb conjugations. So there is no difference in theory or in practice between the indicative tense and the subjunctive tense. Because from medieval Old English until modern English, the changes have disappeared entirely. Okay? Other Romance languages, like for example Spanish, they still have the subjunctive mood, and it still has separate verb conjugations, but in English, no. We have two ways that we use the subjunctive in English, but in reality they are number one, very rare, And number 2, disappearing. Every day disappearing. So the first one is that sometimes, the subjunctive mood is to talk about things that are not real, things that are imaginary, okay? And you will find in the conditional, sometimes in the conditional, we use the old subjunctive conjugation. We say, if I were you, okay? So, were and I normally don't go together. Normally it's you were, they were, we were, right? But not I were. But this were here is from Old English. But as I said, this is disappearing. So it's actually more common these days for people to just use was. People say, if I was you. But there is another way which we use the subjunctive, and that is in very, very specific grammatical structures. Okay? And these grammatical structures, they always have to start in the same way, and they always have to have the same structure. And what's really weird is that we use the bare infinitive. So the bare infinitive is the infinitive without to. Okay, so let me look here because there's a list of the start and use. I'm just going to find one here. Yes. Where are you? Because I'd like to give you a few different examples. Okay. Where are you? Come here. Okay. Okay, perfect. So some common verbs in these examples would be, so for I suggest, and also, so the verb suggest, the verb recommend. As I said, there is a list. I made a video about the subjunctive. You can find it on my YouTube page. But with these structures, we use the bare infinitive. So we say, I suggest he be on time. Okay? Or he recommended we eat pasta. Okay, so you can see here that we have the bare infinitive to be in this sentence. It's very strange. Normally, we would have to say he is on time. And here again, we're using the bare infinitive. It's very strange. But again, this is not very common in English. And every day it's dying. It's less and less common. So see if you can find a way to use the subjunctive to keep it alive. Okay. Okay. So Dima was asking me, and it's a really good question actually. She was asking, why do English speakers use get and got in every situation? Okay. Well, get is a really, really interesting verb in English, okay? Because it has two uses. So the first use of get is a verb which can mean to like achieve something, or to have something, or to collect something. Okay? It's, in a way, it's very similar to, it can be similar to pick up, or it can be similar to achieve an objective. So this is a verb, okay? A verb on its own. But also, so the first use is verb. But the second use, of course, is with all of the phrasal verbs that have get in English. 1 second. Yeah, so I'm back. Yeah, so it can be used as a verb on its own, but also in so many phrasal verbs. Okay, here I have the Oxford Dictionary of Phrasal Verbs, and if I look in get, let's have a look. So, just to give you an idea, okay? So here we starting get. Okay, this is page 120. So we have get, and then we have another page of get, another one. Okay, continues and it continues and it continues all the way to page 132. So there are 12 pages of phrasal verbs only in this dictionary. Okay, so that is why you see get in lots of English text, and everybody says get. Okay, now I don't know if your language has reflexive verbs, but if it does, normally a reflexive verb is a verb with get in English. So, for example, maybe you have get married, get dressed, get angry. If they are verbs that are reflexive, which means that the subject of the verb and the object of the verb are the same thing, then normally we use get in English. Okay, and that's why get is so popular, so common. Okay. Okay, so Roller Thomas, great name, Roller. I don't know if that's your real name, but if that's your real name, that's a cool name, Roller. He wants to know when he should use got or when we should use have. Okay, great question. And this is related to this, okay? Okay, so they are actually two completely separate verbs in English. To have and to have got. Okay? So this to have can be used for lots of different things. We can use it for to have a shower, okay, have a shower, have a coffee, have a rest, have a relax, have a sleep. So, and also for possession, I have a pen, okay? But this to have got has only one meaning, possession, okay? If you say, I have a shower, okay, have a shower. But if you say, I have got a shower, it means in your house, you have the possession of a shower. Only one meaning, okay? So they're different. They're different, okay? And with this verb here, we can use the contraction. For example, I have got could be I've got, okay? Or you have got is you've got, okay? So here we have the contractions. We're eliminating the have, I've got, you've got. But English people, like all native speakers, are very, very lazy. So they want to speak in the shortest and fastest way possible. So they eliminate this part, okay? And they say, I got, you got. Now, this is informal colloquial English, okay? When you're speaking in a conversation, if you're writing an email or a text message, any informal communication, this is absolutely perfectly acceptable to eliminate. I got, you got, she got, okay? But I wouldn't use this in any formal situations, like in your resume, your CV for your job. I wouldn't use it in a business conversation. So it really depends. It depends on the situation. But as I said, informal English, no problems. Eliminate the have and you're perfect, okay? Okay. So Mario, two Marios, okay? He wants to know the difference in pronunciation between want and won't. Okay. Okay. So, between want, want and won't. Yeah, I don't know why I put that there. I'm going crazy. Okay, want and won't. So, this sound here, okay, in this word is ah. So we have the mouth a little bit open, okay, a little bit open, okay, not very open, okay, halfway, ah. But you can see my cheeks are relaxed. It's relaxed, the face, okay. My jaw is in line, okay. And it's a very short sound, okay. This sound here, okay, is the complete opposite. This is a diphthong, okay, diphthong. This means that this sound here, we have to change the position of the mouth when we produce the sound. Oh. You can see my mouth coming in like this. It starts big, oh. And you'll see my lips coming forward, oh. So my lips are coming forward and they're coming smaller. So it's a movement, it's two sounds. Oh. So this one again, relax, one sound, very short, ah. And this one, a long sound with the changing, oh. So, want, won't. Want, won't. Hopefully that helps you to understand the pronunciation of these two words. Please tell me if you want me to explain more. Okay. Okay, so Radik would like me to talk about writing strategies. I don't know if it's writing strategies for exams or writing strategies for emails, or every subject, every situation has different rules. Okay, so it really depends, but I would say that your number one writing strategy should be this, okay? Be clear, okay? People want to understand what you want to say. Simple. Unless you are a poet or unless you are writing a complicated novel, or unless you are writing something very literary, be clear. It's not necessary to use a very big vocabulary. It's not necessary to have complicated grammatical structures. Be clear, keep it simple. Simple is best. I see a lot of students who want to practice business English, and they write English like like they imagine that English people write English. But in reality, if I am a businessman and I want to ask you a question, okay, I don't say, dear sir or madam, would you kindly, if you have time, pass me the relevant... No, okay? Because real, true business people and English native speakers don't have time for this type of thing, okay? They don't have time for flowery language. No flowers, okay? It's business. So I send you an email. Hello, give me a price for this. Thanks, goodbye. So writing strategy, keep it simple. Keep it simple. But if you give me some more detail about exactly what you are writing, maybe I can help you, okay? Okay. So Biazzo, he was asking, when do you use with instead of what? Okay. With means that one thing is together with another thing. With means that two things are together. So my left hand with my right hand, or this book with this pen together. They are with, okay? But what is a question word? We use this to make questions. What are you doing? What is your name? What is your favorite pizza? Okay, so they are totally different, really. And the pronunciation as well, okay, with and what. And with this, don't forget to stick out your tongue, with, okay? Okay, let me look for another question. Yeah, so Wagner has asked me, I do what I was told to do. He's asking, is it an example of the passive voice? I do what I was told to do. Okay. So you can see here that this sentence is actually in two parts, okay, with a conjunction. So here is the conjunction, okay? So I do. So the first part of the sentence is in the active voice. I do, all right? But the second part of the sentence, yes, we can see it's in the passive voice, right? Because here's the verb to do, okay? But who told you to do the thing? Okay? Who? Who told you? Was it your boss? Was it your grandmother? I don't know, you don't say, okay? So this part of the sentence is in the passive voice. Yes. Okay. Let's have a look. Okay. Sorry, I'm just looking here through the things. Okay. 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 Let's have another look again. Okay. Wow, there's lots of comments. I'm really sorry. It's taking me a little while to have a look through them here. Okay, so where do I live? I live in Spain. I live in the north of Spain. It's very cold in winter and very hot in summer. It's very green. There's lots of rain. And people love to eat and drink. So for me, it's perfect. I love it. I love it. Okay. So yes, Radik says that he's from Uzbekistan. Yes, I know about Uzbekistan. In Central Asia. I would love to visit one day. I think that it has a very high altitude. No, I don't know anything about the culture or the people. So tell me, I'm curious. Tell me some more. Okay. So Mario was asking me to explain the letter R in the middle of the word. Sorry, Mario, I don't know what you mean. I think maybe you're talking about the intrusive. I'm not sure. You're going to have to clarify. I'm really sorry. Okay, let's have a look. Looking for another question here. Okay, so Myongo Choi, hopefully my pronunciation was good, was asking the difference between using present simple and the present progressive in song lyrics. Okay. So, in this respect, I don't think that song lyrics are different from normal English. I think that you cannot break the rules of grammar with simple and progressive when you're writing the lyrics to a song. But remember that the simple tense, the present simple tense in English, is to talk about things that are true in general, right? Like, for example, I love you, or you are beautiful, or it is hot. Things that are true. But the progressive tense is for things that are happening now. Like, I'm feeling hot, or, I am getting hungry. Okay? So, I think it really depends on the song and what they're singing about. But in reality, I can't think of any reason why a song lyric would be different from normal English. But it's an interesting question. It's a similar question is, why do all songs get sung? Why are they all sung with an American accent? All pop music is sung with an American accent. I read an article that said that the reason is because when you're singing a song, your vocal cords are open and da-da-da, and it sounds American. Well, I think that is absolute nonsense, lies. I think the reason that people sing with an American accent is because pop music has specific characteristics. You know, you have a verse and then a chorus and then a verse and then a chorus, and you have a tempo and you have a length, You have a standard structure for a pop music, okay? And also, I think part of the standard of pop music is singing in an American accent. And, you know, it's impossible to know if a person singing a song is English or German or American, because all pop music is sung with this American accent. So I think that if you want to practice your American pronunciation, if you want to practice your American listening, pop music is really good for this. Yeah. So Jay Lone asking the important questions here. The important questions. What is my favorite Australian beer? That's a difficult question. Personally, I like IPA beer. Okay, IPA. IPA is Indian Pale Ale. It was a type of beer that was invented by the English to take on their boats when they went to India. And to make the beer last longer, to conserve the beer, they added lots of extra hops. Okay, hops are it's a type of essentially it's a flour. Okay, it's a flour that has preservative characteristics, preservative qualities. So when you put lots of this in the beer, it lasts 6 months instead of 6 weeks, for example. But also, it makes the beer very bitter. Bitter, bitter when you drink the beer and you're like, like a lemon, very bitter. And also, it normally increases the amount of alcohol. So a normal beer maybe is 4%, but an IPA can be 7 or more, 7%. So it's stronger, strong alcohol, strong flavor, and I like this. I think my favorite beer is probably the James Squire IPA. That's a good IPA, bitter and strong, and an important question. Okay, let me have a look for some more questions related to English. Okay. Okay. So Angelia was asking me if it's correct to say I like apples or I like apple. Okay.
Oh, are you finished?
No. Okay. So sorry. I have a cough. A cough. In English, if you have a cough that's like this, that's like somebody going digga 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 here, we call it a tickle cough. Tickle cough. Tickle is when you go digga 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 digga. Okay, a tickle cough, because it's like somebody is in here tickling your throat. Tickle cough. Okay. The first sentence, I like apples, is correct, because here we have a plural, so we don't use an article. We don't use a or an or the, because we're saying I like apples in general. In general. But apple is singular. It's singular, so we need an article, a singular article. I like an apple. Okay, an apple. Because if you say I like Apple, then that means that probably you like Apple, the technology company that makes iPhones and laptops. I don't know if that's what you mean. If that's what you mean, then it's correct. Okay. Okay. Okay, so Maria D also asked me an interesting question. She asked, is it correct to say in the internet or on the internet? Um, Honestly, I have never heard in the internet before. Um, for all of the English that I have heard, all of the dialects of English I have never heard anybody say in the internet. The correct version is on the internet. Okay. Um, yeah. The reason that we use on is because when we look at the internet, okay, how do we look at the internet? Well, we look at the internet on a screen. Okay, maybe your telephone or your computer. You have a screen, and the information is here. Okay, it's here, touching your screen. And we know that if something is touching, then we have to use the verb on. The preposition on, okay? So we're saying the internet is on my telephone. Hopefully that helps you to understand why we say on and not in. In the internet, it doesn't sound good to me. Okay. Fanindra was asking, in general, how do you use rather? So the word rather is interesting. Okay? So rather has two meanings, okay? The first meaning is that you prefer something. I prefer this to this. Okay? Prefer, rather. And the second meaning of rather is to intensify an adjective. Intensify adjective. So, for example, you can say, it is rather hot today. So, similar to quite. Okay? Similar to quite. Or similar to a bit. Or maybe a lot. It depends. It depends on the context, okay? But it's to intensify the adjective. It's rather hot. It's rather cold. He is rather stupid. Okay? And the other meaning, prefer, normally we only use this in the conditional. Okay? We say, I would rather. So, I would rather go to the cinema than go to a restaurant. So normally this here prefer only in the conditional. Now, I want to say one thing, okay? Rather in English is dying. The usage of rather is every day reducing more and more. Rather is a word that is very posh, okay? It's very upper class, very formal. And so it's more normal to use other things, to use other substitutes like prefer or quite, a bit, very. So in general, don't use rather too much, okay? Use rather a little bit because it's quite posh, quite formal, okay? Okay. Okay, so Biazzo is a little bit angry with me, I think, a little bit upset, because he wants to know how to use the word with. Okay, like this. With. Because before you asked me, he asked me the difference between with and what. But I think now I understand your question. You wanted to know the difference between what and which, I think. With a C, not a T. What and which. Now I understand. Okay. So for example, I could say, what is your name? Or what do you want to do today? But which, when do we use which? What's the difference? Okay, so okay, the difference is that we use what to ask questions when there are unlimited possibilities. So for example, what is your name? Because your name, there are infinite possibilities. What is your address? Because you could live anywhere in the world. Infinite possibilities. Okay? Or what is your favorite color? Because again, infinite possibilities, infinite colors. Okay? But which is when we have a limited quantity of possibilities. So for example, I could say, which is your favorite? The book or the pen? Because there's only two possibilities. Or which is your favorite Star Wars movie? Episode 1 or episode 2? Okay? So if you have unlimited options, use what? If you have limited possibilities, use which. Okay? Hopefully that helps you to understand the difference. Please tell me if you want me to explain more. Okay, sorry, I'm looking through the comments. I'm trying to find some more questions. Okay. Yes, you did mean which. Hopefully I explained that for you. So Mooney was asking, what is the difference between the present perfect and the present perfect continuous? A great question. So, we know that the present perfect is to talk about something in the past at a non-specific time. Like, for example, I have been to Italy 5 times. Or, I have eaten a lot of pizza today. Okay? And yes, I am obsessed with pizza. Totally obsessed with pizza. Pizza is life. The present perfect continuous, the only difference is the present perfect continuous is when something is recent. Okay? This is recent. So imagine that we are talking about holidays. No, we're not talking about holidays, sorry. We're talking about washing your car. Okay? So you can say, I have washed my car 5 times. I have washed my car. I have washed my car 5 times. Okay, so we're saying non-specific time in the past. Okay? But imagine if you are all wet, totally wet. And very dirty, wet and dirty, okay? Because cleaning the car, yes, cleaning the car. So, and I ask you, what are you doing? Why are you dirty? Why are you wet? And you say, I have been washing my car. I have been washing my car, okay? So, because it's recent, it's related to now, and it's recent past, we use the continuous, okay? Because remember, in English, that all of the continuous tenses, present continuous, future continuous, past continuous, talk about the moment, being in the moment. When I talk about present continuous, for example, I am teaching a class. Now I'm teaching in this moment. Or in the future continuous, I will be teaching at 2 o'clock. At 2 o'clock I will be teaching. I'm talking about a moment in the future. Or past continuous. Yesterday, at night, I was sleeping. I'm talking about a moment in the past. And here, when we use present perfect continuous, we are talking about a moment, okay, that just finished, that just recently finished. Okay? So that's to help you remember. We are in the moment, okay? Okay. So, Booby, great name Booby. I like Booby. Booby from Thailand. He or she, I'm sorry, I don't know if you're male or female. He or she wants to know, what is the difference between remember and recognize? Okay, so the difference is, okay, that remember is information, okay? So for example, do you remember my name? Do you remember how to conjugate a verb in English? Do you remember your last holiday? Okay, we're talking about remembering information. But recognize, okay? Recognize is something visual. Okay? So I could say, do you recognize this book? Like, I'm saying visually, have you seen this before? Or maybe if the police are looking for a person, they show you a photograph of the person and they say, do you recognize this person? So one is remembering information and the other one is remembering something visual. Hopefully that helps to explain the difference. So yes, Dima is asking if I could spend some time making some classes about IELTS preparation. I would love to spend some more time making some classes about that. I will. Over Christmas, I will have some more time, okay? So Fanindra says that she worked with somebody from Galicia. Interesting. You should say hello to them from me. Say hello. In Galicia, they have a food called caldo. Okay. Caldo is basically like a big soup. It's a type of soup, and in the soup you have normally you have different parts of the pig, the intestines of the pig, and some other parts of the pig. Also some beans, potatoes. It's a very simple, very traditional dish, caldo. So probably your colleague misses this a lot. If you talk to your colleague about caldo, they will die because they will be thinking about how much they miss caldo. Okay. So let's have a look. Dima was asking, do we say Ukraine or the Ukraine? Okay, so the reason that we put the in front of countries is if the name of the country contains a noun. For example, we say the United States because a state is a noun. Okay, it's a thing. So it's the United States. Similar to if the name of the country is an island, like, for example, the Seychelles, because it's the Seychelles Islands. The name contains a noun. Now, in the past, it was called the Ukrainian Republic, I think, or the Republic of Ukraine. So people say the Ukraine, but now the tradition, no, the fashion is to eliminate this. Okay, in the United Nations, they prefer to say only Ukraine. Because technically now the name is not the Republic of or the independent state of. Okay, it's just Ukraine. So I would say the answer is no the to be perfectly correct. Okay. Firstly, I would like to apologize for the technical problem that I had in the previous class. I don't know. Streaming on YouTube is not easy for me. It's a little bit complicated. I don't know why. Secondly, I would like to say thank you very much for watching. Unfortunately, I have to go now. I have to prepare for my classes for this afternoon. But I really appreciate all of you watching. I really appreciate all of your questions. And I hope that today you learned something new. That's the most important thing for me, is that you learned something interesting. And I hope that it was entertaining for you as well. And so next week, I'll see you guys all next week. Be good. I'm Christian. This is Canguro English, and I'll see you in class. Bye.